let's move on to the varying thresholds that you can use in our analytics platform. Now let's talk about one of the features within our analytics platform, the ability to use absolute, relative, and custom thresholds for speed zones. The goal here is to make player monitoring both accurate and individualized, so that the information you're getting is directly relevant to how your players train and compete. First, we have relative thresholds. These are based on each player's own maximum speed. So instead of one standard number for everyone, each player's targets are personalized, and that means you're not overloading slower players or under-preparing your faster ones. It's especially useful during return to play, where players might not yet be back at full capacity, but you still want to track how close they are to their individual targets. Next, absolute thresholds. These use fixed speed bands like 25 kilometers per hour. They're great for giving coaches a clear, objective view of who's hitting the absolute speeds required in competition. This helps benchmark positions, for example, wingers versus centre backs, and ensures your team is ready to meet match demands. Finally, we have custom thresholds. This is where you can really dive deep into analysis. You can set your own thresholds like 8.5 to 9 meters per second or above 9 meters per second to understand how often players hit the highest intensities and how much distance they cover there. And this is especially powerful for return to play. It lets you track whether a player has reached the specific sprint exposures they'll face in real match conditions. It also gives you insight into training design. For example, if your centre backs are actually doing more top-end sprinting in training than in games. So the takeaway here is that using all three, absolute, relative, and custom thresholds, gives you a complete picture of each player's physical readiness, ensuring that your data is aligned with both individual and tactical demands. Now that we've looked at what absolute, relative, and custom thresholds are, let's explore what they actually look like in practice. Starting with absolute thresholds, these use fixed speed bands, such as greater than 7.0 meters per second. A good example is when a coach asks for a simple comparison between wide players. One player has covered 1,000 meters of high-speed running, another has covered 800. Straight away, the coach can see who is physically outputting more and can adapt training accordingly. Absolute data is great for communication. It's simple, visual, and easy for coaches to relate to. It's especially effective when benchmarking positional groups or evaluating whether the team as a whole is meeting physical expectations. Then we have relative thresholds, which are much more personalized. Let's say you have a winger who's coming back from a hamstring injury. Their absolute numbers might look fine, but when you apply relative thresholds, you realize they're only reaching 85% of their own maximum speed. That tells you they still need a few more targeted exposures before they're ready to be cleared for full match play. This is where relative thresholds really shine. They help us tailor decisions around the individual rather than just the squad average. Finally, we have custom thresholds, which allow you to go deeper. Think about a centre back. In games, they might rarely hit above 9 meters per second, but in training, they might reach that regularly during longer recovery sprints or transition drills. By creating a custom threshold, say 8.5 to 9 meters per second and another above 9, we can track those exposures and make sure their rehab or training plan includes the same top-end demands they'll face in competition. So to summarize, absolute thresholds are best for comparisons and communication, relative thresholds for personalization and rehab, and custom thresholds for deeper analysis and exposure planning. Together, they give you a complete and flexible understanding of your squad's physical readiness.